Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be tuning in. We're streaming live on YouTube. Welcome to our Fireside Chat here, the 23rd day of July. This month, this year has just gone by so incredibly fast. I hope everyone is doing great and having a great month. Very excited about today. I've got a very special guest on. Bob Rakowski. Bob is a veteran in this industry, and we're going to be talking with him, discussing some ideas. And, Bob and I met actually through another mastermind. I have been, as many of you know, a part of, for about the last year and a half, a mastermind group that Eric Worre runs, Next Level Mastermind. Actually, there's, I don't know, probably about 100 people on this, mid to high six-figure, even seven-figure and multiple seven-figure earners. I mean, this is the top of the top of the top within this industry of network marketing. And, it has just been an incredible experience being part of this and just getting the ideas from other people, other top leaders, within this industry, working with other companies and what they're doing and, the challenges that they're having and what it's really been just an incredibly high level mastermind. And Bob is a part of that as well. And so we have gotten to know each other a little bit and just so impressed with him as an individual, as a leader. And, Jim Rohn, and this is going to be our topic for the day. And of course, guys, as we open these things up, I mean, this can go anywhere, right? I mean, we're not rigid to stay within our topic. I mean, we're here to just have an open, interactive discussion. I love it where it goes and, what the possibilities are and what might come out of this. But what I was thinking today, okay, as I'm reading, some of Bob's bio, is he has been a high-level producer in this industry of network marketing, and he's done it on a part-time level. I think his bio says 9 years part-time in network marketing while running 5 other types of businesses, okay? And, Jim Rohn says the magic of part-time. He says, I'm working, I'm working part-time on my fortune and full-time on my job. Right. And, he almost talked about how he hated to get rid of that part-time story because as we're out there recruiting and we're building and, people are busy and they say, well, I can't do this because it's easy for you because you're full-time. And, that's why the power of part-time, that part-time story is so incredibly powerful because 99% of the people enter this business on a part-time basis. And I would guess 95%, working on a part-time basis, right? And so, and here's a guy that has hit incredible levels of success within this industry. And yet, Bob, are you still part-time? And so let's pause for a moment. And Bob, if you want to come off mute, give us a little bit, I think you live in Dallas, give us a little bit of your story. So everybody kind of knows a little bit more about you, who you are, and what your experiences have been in this industry, and also in your traditional business life, and what you think of network marketing. So yeah, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, John, I'll try to be brief with that story. I first met Jim Rohn in the 1990s. I went to his seminars in person. I have his autographed journal, and Jim Rohn taught, 30 minutes a day. You always read 30 minutes a day, miss a meal, don't miss your reading. So I've done that. I have done that for 30 years. And I tell you, it served me really well. I'm a chiropractor, kinesiologist, clinical nutritionist, clinic director of the Natural Medicine Center in Houston, Texas. I teach seminars all over the world. My wife and I do real estate, commercial and residential. We also have a small advertising company. And so we have a lot of irons in the fire. I didn't have a favorable impression of network marketing for a long, long time. And what's fascinating is it was just because people were prospecting me in a very unprofessional way. People would come into my office, I'd be very, very busy, and they would basically corner me in my office and say, I've got something really exciting I need to share with you. I just need 5 minutes. Well, I'm already 25 minutes behind. I don't want to get 30 minutes behind. And, they would kind of bull their way in. So we put a sign on our door that said, network marketers not welcome. Until 9 years ago, when my son was still in high school, he came home and he was very excited about a business that was health and wellness. And when I found out it was network marketing, I said, Jacob, it's a good product. Fine, I can buy into the product, but I'll never buy into the business model. Well, never say never. He was a six-figure earner before his 21st birthday, really got our attention. And we said, why not? Why not share this? This is good enough. And it took off from there. But if we're going to be part-time, that part-time has to be income producing time. You can't be part-time looking in your back office. You can't be part-time thinking about what you want to do. Part-time is actually doing things that are going to put the opportunity in front of people and collect decisions and then move them along the training funnels. And that's really the essence. And, that's what I really love about what you teach and how you teach and your story. Warren Buffett said, simple has always worked for me. You're a master of that, and I certainly try to be.
Well, Bob, thank you for that introduction. And a couple of things that you had said I want to touch on. Number one, when you talked about having a sign on your door, network marketers not allowed, right? And so, the first point here, guys, I think to take out of this is never say never. I mean, when you find someone sharp, even if they have preconceived notions, they've thrown the network marketing, in the Amway box with the skull and crossbones, that I'll never do something like that. Never say never. You'd never know if you stay persistent. But again, that approach to get to where someone can, step back and actually see the power of what it is that we do. I think that is a big thing. I mean, I talk about, my first introduction to network marketing. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't understand it. I just knew it was bad, right? I mean, I thought network marketing was one of those things where you make no money and lose your friends. And, and the reason we have that is because we hear about, the people that come in and they don't work, thus they fail. They don't want to take responsibility to the fact they didn't work. And so they want to blame that's a scam, and I talk about this because network marketing is the only business out there where people publicize their failure, meaning trying to take the burden of their failure off of their own self and put it on the fact that something was wrong with it, right? Because you go to work in the insurance industry or real estate and you don't make any money, it doesn't work for you. You don't go say, well, that Remax is a total scam. New York Life, total scam. No, they say, hey, real estate wasn't my deal. Insurance wasn't my deal. Right? Where network marketing, when they fail, they don't want to take responsibility that they probably didn't work, right? They didn't do what was necessary. So that was the first thing, is my perception was negative. My first perception in the industry, I actually didn't know really it was network marketing. I looked at a water filter. I thought they wanted me to build a display or look at the quality of the product. And I got excited only about the product. I mean, when they were talking the business and duplication, I'm like, why would I want to bring someone else into my business and create my own competition? I mean, I want to sell them all, right? I didn't understand that J. Paul Getty theory of earning, a small percent of a lot of people versus 100% of your own efforts. But the second thing that you had said, that I wanted to bring, what was the second thing that you said that I wanted to bring light to? There were several things that you said there that I wanted to talk about. I should have jotted them down. So with that, Bob, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So I felt the same way. Don't prejudge people. The way you approach people is crucial. Oh, I know what it was. It was time, the time that you spend, right? And, Robert Kiyosaki has a great quote. He says, the difference between a rich man and a poor man is how they spend their time. I mean, think of how profound that statement is. Difference between a rich man and a poor man is how they spend their time. And you made reference that if you're going to put time in here, it has to be income producing time. And this is a major mistake because we're dealing with people that have never done business. In most cases, they have a job, they have a boss, they're told what to do. Matter of fact, I think it's Yale University did a study, and they said something like 98% of people need oral or written instruction, to get through the day. And in this, you have an upline, there's a system in place, and there's things you need to do, but ultimately you still have to do it. I mean, you're in control of your time. And I always talk about the difference between pay time and no pay time, right? I mean, studying the website, learning everything about everything is, important. It's good, but it's not pay time activities. It's no pay time activities. If you only got 2 hours a day to work this, you better, know what you're going to do with those 2 hours instead of spending the first hour and a half trying to figure out what you're going to do with the last 30 minutes. All right. So, Bob, talk a little bit about, that part-time activity and what you perceive to be the most important pay time activities. And so elaborate a little bit on that story.
Well, I like the definition of networking is making friends and meeting their friends. And so, you start with people that are friends and you reach out to them. And, lately I tell a 1-minute story. So it's evolved over time. And I tell them, I am wonderfully successful, but I had a shoulder injury. I had an X-ray and the radiologist saw something that he was, frightened him. He thought it was cancer. Well, I got that X-ray report when I was leaving town. And I had a week to sit there and think about, well, gosh, what if I'm going to die? How am I going to take care of my family? And fortunately, it wasn't cancer. It was a artifact from surgery that was, in the bone. But I had a week and I realized your network is your net worth. So make friends and meet their friends. We're such big fans of Eric Worre. I went to one of his events and it might have been 8 years ago. And Whitney Husband was on stage telling her story. She was a single mom on government assistance living in a town of 2,000 in a trailer. And she found a product that she liked. And, we can generically say it was makeup. And she got on Facebook and she'd look at a young lady and she'd send her a message, my gosh, you have beautiful lips. What kind of lipstick do you use? And then the person would say, well, thank you. And she'd say, well, I've got this wonderful lipstick. I think you'll love it. I'm a single mom. I'm trying to earn a living. Could I send you a sample? And if you like it, I'd like to earn your business. Well, she did that. And within 2 years, she went from government assistance to $1 million a year earner. And, I have people in my phone and I know when their birthdays are, and that's always a good time for a conversation. And the fortunes in the follow-up, you reach out to a friend. Hey, I've got a new business. It may or may not be for you, but I'd like a few minutes to explain. Can we have a conversation? Facebook, it's easy enough. What I do lately is I have 5,000 Facebook friends. That means about 15 people a day are going to have a birthday. A few days ahead, I send them a birthday wish. Then I say, by the way, I'm taking a business class and they're inspiring me or teaching me to tell a 1-minute story. Would you listen to my 1-minute story? And then we see if it bridges to something else. But ultimately, connecting with people, adding value, and a happy birthday is value. Happy day is a happy value. And remember, no is not no forever. It just means no, not right now. I understand that. Do you mind if I check back with you? I always ask in 30, 60, or 90 days. And John, you'd be surprised. They say, sure, that would be fine. Would you prefer 30, 60, or 90? Most people come back at 60. A handful 30. I get more 30s than 90s and more 60s than anything else. So if you're in rapport, people want you to check back.
Yeah. So one of the things you said here is your network is your net worth. And that's really part of our business is right. I mean, we're network marketing. And so you need to be asking yourself the question, what are you doing to network? What are you doing to grow that network? Not necessarily your business, right? Your contact base, the people you're connecting and touching with. And you mentioned 5,000 people on Facebook, which, I'm guessing you don't know all 5,000, right? They're just Facebook friends, right? But what you said, every single one of those 5,000 have a birthday every day on an average of, what'd you say, about 15 a day?
About 15 a day.
15 a day. And I do this exact same thing. Every single day, I wish everybody, I don't know 90% of them, Every single day I wish them a happy birthday. Okay. And that opens the door. Number one, they remember it because we all, I don't care who you are, we all look at who wishes us happy birthday and they don't recognize you and who you are. Or if I do happen to know them a little bit, they'll hit me back with a thank you. And then I'll hit them back saying, how is everything going with you? And because one of the subtleties that I heard, Bob, and what you just, in the approaches that you're using, you don't pounce on people. You don't, and that's one of the mistakes I think people make in this industry is they pounce, they get too aggressive, right? And you want to be excited, you want to be enthusiastic, you want to have, confidence and posture, but you don't want to be pushy, you don't want to turn people off. It's the way, it's just like you mentioned Whitney, the way she said, I'll it's this product and I'll send you some, and if you like it, we can talk more. I mean, it's not, you need to do this. Right. And I think there's such of a difference in that subtlety versus this direct approach that immediately gets people's defenses up versus opens them up to explore with maybe, that could be another whole discussion because the approach is so key. But yeah, I think if you're not doing that, folks, you need to do what he had said. Wish everybody, go through on your Facebook every day, just happy birthday. And a lot of times if they hit you back, it's how's everything going for you? Or, it's building that rapport. Do not pounce on people. So maybe elaborate on that, Bob. And then we'll of course, you guys know we always want interaction. If anybody wants to chime in here with their comments or their feedback or any other ideas in this area. But again, the main topic but we can go anywhere was, the magic of part-time.
John, I'm a huge fan of being a good student of success. And there was a runaway bestseller book about a decade ago called The Go-Giver by a guy named Bob Berg. And there was a guy that was a go-getter and he was pouncing on people and he was really turning people away. And when he turned into a go-giver, when he turned into adding value to people, if you're always adding value, and think about that, when you think about the word appreciate, well, appreciate literally means to increase in value. When you appreciate people for what they are, who they are, what they stand for, then that you automatically add value. And that's where we start. We start by adding value. Let the conversation evolve naturally. And if you're in rapport with people over time, there will be a right time to share. And I promise you, there's always a wrong time. When I look at my history, have I gone too fast? Absolutely. In almost every case, it's backfired. Have I gone too slow? Maybe, but I don't ever remember slow backfiring on me. So meet people where they are, appreciate them, add value. And ultimately, when you're in rapport, when time is right for you, for them, they'll often reach back. Last year when the pandemic hit, I had 17 people reach out to me that I was in rapport with. And they said, Bob, I should have taken you up on that opportunity a year ago, but is now still okay. Yeah, now still okay. Let's get you going.
One of the things, guys, if you didn't catch it, that you said, you made the mistake of going too fast, and it blows back on you, right? And you've been gone too slow, but you don't have repercussions of it going too slow, right? It's much better to go too slow than too fast, because too fast will close someone off and push them away. One of the other things I think I'll add to that too, from a prospecting standpoint, is asking questions, right? I mean, asking questions to learn about what's really going on in their life. Even when I'm on an airplane with somebody or, and they're, I don't tell them what I'm doing. I just ask them what they're doing. I get them, and they will eventually ask me what I'm doing. Well, what about you? What do you do? And if they don't, I'll say, I bet you wonder what I do. But asking those questions, and then, say, what do you like best about that? What do you like worst about your job? Asking questions to find, or you might even say something like, oh, wow, that must be fascinating. You must love your work. And most people don't, and they're literally come back and chuckle a little bit and say, no, to be honest with you, I hate it. But finding, if you take the time and slow down to learn about people and what's really going on in their life, it will, even though it's slower, it's the payback is faster.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. And even statistically, fascinating survey. There's more people that hate their job than love their job, and 60% of people are in between those numbers. So you've got about 80% of people not in love with their job. That means we have an absolutely huge market. And if we approach people in the right way, in a friendly way, in a serving way, in a valuable way, then we can stay in rapport. And when time is right, then ultimately this just makes too much sense not to do it.
I can't remember if I shared this on a fireside chat last week or when I heard the statistic, but it was very recent that there's like, I think it was the DSA reported that 85 million people in the US alone that don't want to go back to work. They don't want to go back into the office, right? And the statistic, I think it was there's 7.7 million people in network marketing in the US. And they estimate that out of that 85 million, that about 4 million of them, or 4.2 million of them, will find their way into network marketing. So you think about 7 million, 4.2 in this pool of people that don't want to go back into the office, and 4.2 of them coming into network marketing. That's literally a 50% growth in distributors in the United States. So the question is, are you going to get your fair share of them? Right? And how do we do that? We go back to your comment early. You got to build that network. You got to connect with people. And one of the other mistakes that we make is we assume this person would never do this, right? Don't assume. I mean, I've even approached people, that way. Bob, I'm involved in something I'm super excited about. I know you wouldn't have any interest, and that little, because even in some of the approaches that that little bit of takeaway versus being too, especially when you're dealing with people that are, say more successful than you, right? Even like my background, coming from maintenance, and it's not like, I'm going to come to a high level successful person and, yeah, you've done well, but I'm here now. I got the real deal for you. No, I approach those people in the back door. I'm super excited, really value your thought on this, respect what you've done and what you're doing. I really want your input on this, or I know you wouldn't be interested, but I thought you might know somebody that would, or you could help me with this. When you ask people for help, when you ask people, you play on their ego a little bit, it's like they open up to you. And then of course the goal is, if they want to help you, they're going to have to learn what it is you're doing. And now they're looking at it in a very objective way versus they're trying to get me into something. So, so Bob, what other, from a 9-year person in this industry, you've had phenomenal success in your life, in business too, but in network marketing as well. What would you say if you were to, maybe say 3 things? 3 points. If you had the ability to give our group here today, 3 major points that you think could have an impact or help them, what would they be?
Well, I like to talk about leverage. So when people get in, they don't know much about anything. They don't know about the product. They don't know about the industry. They don't know about compensation plan, but they all know someone who does. So, encourage them to work with their connected upline. And it might not be the person that sponsored them. Say, I've got someone that's really important to me. Who's the best person? If you wanted to get an influencer in the business, who's the best person? That could easily go back to you, and you make yourself available for that. You want to use the leverage of resources of people. You want to use the leverage of events. As Eric Worre has taught for years, you get people to an event, the event does the work. And it's easier than ever now because most companies have virtual events multiple times a week. This essentially is a virtual event. We can talk about how powerful this is. The Eric Worre event in December is going to be beyond powerful. And so leverage people, leverage events, and then make really good use of your time. And I like a committed time block. And that's the nice thing about reaching out on Facebook. 6 a.m. to 6:30, that's when I'm going to, in the morning, before people are even awake, I wish them a happy birthday, a beautiful day. And I will ask them in that same question, how's everything going? I don't just leave it at the happy birthday, but whatever your style is. If they reply back, then that's a good time to ask them, how's it going? And once you get that conversation going, you can go from there. But fascinating enough, the reach out is happening before they're even awake. They wake up to a nice message. They often reply. Then I have a little bit of time in the afternoon that I dedicate towards replying back, usually 12 to 12:30. And then if we arrange a conversation, all the better. You know, I always want to get people on the phone. Three-way calls are magic. I think they're tremendously underutilized. But ultimately, if you can put someone on a three-way call that can very much relate to this person, a story of someone they can relate to from the starting point and then ultimately where they want to be, that's what I call the best three-way call ever.
Yeah, well, I am a huge fan of the three-way phone call. I mean, I think it's one of the most powerful tools we have. You know, one of the other most powerful tools we have, you already mentioned, which is events, right? Getting people, you know, in front of an event. And the bigger the event, the better it is. And you also mentioned you went to GoPro, right? I mean, that was an eye-opening. I mean, you saw a different picture coming out of that event. Because the reason I say that, guys, is, you know, because of the pandemic, you know, Eric has, you know, built this studio, this virtual studio. And, you know, last year, I think he had like, when he's done these GoPros live events, they've been, you know, 5,000 to 8,000. I think he had one that was like 12,000 or something. And the last one was like almost 50,000 and all over in the comfort of your home at a fraction of the cost. And this year I mean, you know, Bob, he talks about it all the time, 250,000 people at this upcoming event is his goal. And incidentally, guys, if you haven't gotten a ticket for that, contact me because I've got 200 tickets. I purchased 200 tickets. I got them for a discount. I think they're $179 or $199. I've got them for $99. And so, which is coming up in December. So talk about the impact events that when you went to that event, what kind of picture did you see? How did that change you?
Well, you know, what's fascinating is at my very first event, I kind of went all in. I bought 5 tickets, you know, and remember the rule is if you go by yourself, you'll learn a lot. If you bring your team, you'll earn a lot. And I was so overwhelmed with great strategies. It absolutely builds belief in the power of the industry. And the following year, Eric Worre was bringing Sir Richard Branson and Tony Robbins. And he said, you know what, if you'll commit to 100 tickets, and he sold them at $400 a pop if you were going to buy 100, so a $40,000 commitment, come down on stage and take a picture with me, you know? So I committed to 100 tickets, paid the $40,000. I didn't get 100 people to the next year's event. I got 79 people there. But from that event launched my very first diamond in the company. And then every year the numbers have gone up. This year our team has 600 tickets. And, you know, the more people you get to those events, the better. And someone's going to learn something that's going to move them forward. They're going to tweak a strategy. You know, like you say, right or almost right. There's going to be, most people are going to show up doing things almost right. And the difference between almost right and right is exponential. And if they get that one tweak to get it right, then their business is paid for the rest of their life. And, you know, that one event, just one diamond from that, I'm paid for the rest of my life for that event, for the masterminds, for all the future events, because that's what one serious leader is worth to your business, to your lifetime income.
Well, I'm going to steal this line from you. I mean, I absolutely love this line. Come to this event and you'll learn a lot. You know, bring your team and you'll learn a lot. I mean, that is a great saying. I love that saying. I wrote that down and I am going to be using that saying. That is phenomenal. But my very first event with my very first company, and I didn't know what was going on. And they kept telling me, I need to come to this event. I need to come to this event. And you need to bring everyone with you. And I was young, you know, very coachable. I basically, okay, if that's what I need to do, that's what I need to do. And I ended up bringing 52 people with me to my very first event. And I went into that event making $3,000 a month. I came out of that event with 52 other people that saw the same picture that I saw, understood it the way I did. I left that event making $9,000. And I'd never made less in my entire career. Okay. I mean, folks, with this statement, come to the event and you'll learn a lot. Bring your team and you will earn a lot. That is an incredibly powerful. And the thing that I have found, the people that need that event the most are the ones that don't go. The people that, you know, I can't afford it. I mean, I hear the stories, as I'm sure you do, about people that, I mean, have rolled quarters, have had 20 people sleeping in a room to attend events. I'm telling you, if you want to be successful in network marketing and you want to succeed at a high level, these events that we talk about, they're not, I'll try, I'll see what I can do. Maybe it is an absolute must. You have to be there. I mean, if you talk to anyone who's ever succeeded at a high level in network marketing, they will tell you the events are not an option, they are a must, right? And I know I'm getting a little aggressive on you here, but that is just my belief. And I love this statement. I'm going to use it. I'm going to repeat that a lot. That's phenomenal. Where did you hear that? I don't think I've ever heard that.
Well, I've definitely picked it up along the way, John. One thing I take pride in is being a very good student, learning from people like you, learning from Eric Worre, learning from Jordan Adler, learning from Brian Carruthers, learning from Jesse Lee, learning from Whitney Husband. You know, when we're in that mastermind, we get so many things, but you might like this one as well. You know, if you're not doing well, you really need the event. If you are doing well, the event needs you. So they want these stories. You know, when you share success, that social proof is absolutely critical. And ultimately, someone's going to walk across that stage and someone's going to look at him and say, for crying out loud, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's ultimately what we want people to say.
Yeah, if they're going to identify with somebody that's in the same situation, that did it, that pushed through, you know, that went to that event when they couldn't, when all the odds were against them, and they took the risk, they took the chance, they made the investment, and they're here today because of it. You know, they're succeeding today at an unbelievable level because of that. And so, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Well, listen, let's take and see if anybody wants to chime in here and add to our conversation of what we're having here. Anyone jump in here? Talk about event, talk about part-time, talk about maybe a pinnacle event that, you know, changed the course of your life or your business.
John, I'll hop on.
Hey, Robin.
Yes to everything.
yeah. Robin, you know, is like 90 days into this industry of network marketing, literally was afraid to talk to anyone. And now this is, I think, the third mastermind or our fireside chat in a row that you've jumped in. So
yes,
personal development at its best.
Yes, I try. I'm trying really hard, John. So I just wanted to jump on here, you know, because I was trying to let somebody else jump on here, but I'll jump on and say hi to everybody. So yeah, I went to a meeting within the first month of me joining. And it changed my whole perspective on everything. I mean, I jumped on board on John Haremza's opportunity and training on a Monday that made me join the company in the first place. And then I just started hearing about all these other ways I could plug in, and going to an event was something I definitely knew I needed to be a part of to put a face to my name and get myself out there and really see what this was all about. And that, you know, I went by myself. I had my upline with me, but my upline had their people that they knew. I didn't know anybody. This was my first experience all together. I mean, even taking a lift from the airport to the hotel, it was crazy. And I stayed at the event hotel so I could be as close to the whole thing as possible. And I introduced myself. I went out and got business cards and handed them out to everybody just so I could, I'm here, I'm in the company, you know, I may not know what I'm doing, but you know, here's my card.
What was that, the Vegas event?
That was the Vegas event in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, where we got to go. I've been to your house, right where you're sitting, John.
Yeah.
So
that
was
I think we had about 80 people in the house that day.
Yeah,
during COVID.
The full house for sure. So that was just a great opportunity for me to be involved in, and it took me to places I've never been to before, and I've just been kind of learning from there, and I'm just excited to be a part of all this. So yeah.
Well, you know, and you talk about being excited to be a part of all this, because a lot of people are just stuck in life, you know, and they don't like their job. They're waking up in this mundane routine that it gives them no real energy. And folks, just don't underestimate. I mean, yes, we know the impact of our products that we all represent, but the impact of this business of giving someone hope, right? Putting that picture of hope in their future puts spring in their step, and everything in your life starts to, brighten, right? When you get excited about life, when you get excited about growing versus, surviving and maintaining, everything in your life gets better. And so don't ever underestimate the impact, the involvement, the culture, the environment of bringing someone in. Even when someone joins our industry and fails, I would believe if they were really honest with themselves in question, they would have to come back and say it had an impact, a positive impact. Even if they had lost money, it had a positive impact some way. How, as brief as it may have been, being involved in network marketing had a positive impact on their life. So anyone else want to jump in here? Or Bob, if you have any thing that's, popping into your head you want to share with the group?
Well, I want to tell Robin how proud I am of her. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. The fact that you are getting out there, expanding, reaching out and say, I'm here. And that is the ultimate in networking. Hey, it's, some people say it's not what you know, it's who you know, but that's not true. It's who knows you. And you're getting a lot of people to know you. And ultimately, they're going to realize, they'll see the transition in you, how excited you are. They're going to say, what in the world are you doing? And that's, your success, your happiness is the best marketing tool ever.
Your success, your happiness, the best marketing tool ever. I like that.
Hey,
too.
John, I want to share my first event. This is Mike Castillo in Houston, Texas. I was on Fireside a couple of weeks ago. I remember my first event, my wife dragged me in there. I wasn't kicking and screaming, but to get on her product, I was just supporting her. But when I went to our first event during a hurricane in Orlando with our 2 kids here, it became part of our lifestyle to be in our company. The company culture, we already embraced it. But that event is where I developed my belief in what the company stands for and how it aligns with what we're already doing in life. We work in healthcare and we're just bringing out the health out there. And I think that's the event where I was born to believe in not just the product and not just supporting my wife, but supporting the entire mission of Dave and Joyce and everybody else we met was along that alignment. And that's where the event is really has opened up my eyes to a world of living doing something better other than the job that we still like. So thank you.
And that speaks to that hope. That speaks to that, getting a vision of what could be possible in life. And and I'll ask you the question, Mike. Let's just imagine for a moment you didn't go to that event. Okay. Do you think you'd be here today?
No, I would still be working and just minding my business at work.
Yeah. I mean, guys, because here's the thing I'll promise you. There are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be challenges. There are going to be times when you feel like quitting. There are going to be things that are unfair and that shouldn't have happened. All kinds of things happen in life and in business and true in our industry as well. And it is that picture you saw at that event, when you can think back of that feeling you had when you were at that event. And those sometimes are the things that you need to draw on that keeps you going, that extra mile that could lead you to the destination, right? So anybody else want to jump in?
Hey, John, I got a little story. You talk about, seeing people at events saying, well, man, if they can do it, I can do it. The first event Faye and I went to years ago, we're sitting there in the crowd and this couple go across stage and introduce this young couple. They were brand new, pretty high pin level in that business, right? And we looked at each other and said, well, that's that guy I used to teach in high school. He played volleyball for me. How in the heck could he do that? Well, I said, if he can do that, we can do it. And that kind of made the decision there to solidify ourselves. It's just hilarious when that happens.
Yeah, fantastic. We all have I remember, one of my, I was in the business for a while, but I'd plateaued. I was kind of struggling a little bit. And this was an event in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was a large event with my very first company. And I mean, there was 10,000 people in that room. And I remember this couple walked across the stage. They had just became national marketing directors, which that was kind of like, the pinnacle. I mean, that was that you arrived, right? And it was an older couple. And, the husband started speaking and just, talked about, that first year, the first few years we were struggling so much and I don't think we sold anything. And the wife interrupted him and says, no, honey, that's not true. We sold the house, we sold the car, we sold the boat, you know, to try to, you know, stay in the business. And sometimes it's really, what are you willing to do? If you have that picture, I mean, really, what are you willing to do, you know, for having freedom and for success, to really do this? Because too many people tiptoe. Too many people are trying to go to second base, but they keep one foot on first. I mean, when you draw that line in the sand, and I will do this, and nothing's going to stop in my way, I am going to do it. When you have that kind of commitment and determination that you're going to do whatever it takes, it's pretty hard to fail with that attitude. Anyone else want to jump in, or we're about another 5 minutes here or so? Bob, do you want to jump in, give us your thoughts on, you know, one of the other things in your bio, you said you've read 150 books on network marketing. So you're obviously, I mean, a massive student of the industry, and you thrive off of information and just trying to, you know, take it all in. What would you recommend, okay, out of that reading material? What would you recommend that to the group here that they pick up and that is a must read? And what would you say was one of the biggest things you learned from that?
Well, John, first and foremost, it has to be yours, right? Right or almost right. And I should show you a picture. When I read the book, I'm highlighting, I actually index the ideas that I want in the first blank page. And I filled that up so fast with so many great strategies, from small step to vision to, it's just a little fine tuning. Eric Worre's, you know, GoPro 7 strategies to become a successful professional network marketer. That's a must read. I like Art Williams' audiobook. Art Williams is actually a billionaire in network marketing. And he's got such a fantastic story. There's a tragedy to it. His father dropped dead of a heart attack at age 49. And the life insurance policy wasn't enough to barely bury him, let alone take care of mom and the kids. And what Art had learned was that every company had policies that for the same money, they could have had $100,000 death benefit in the 1950s, but the companies didn't sell it because there wasn't money in it for the sales rep that sold it. So Art went door to door, started his own insurance company, or initially it was called A.L. Williams, and he sold one policy. And he told people, if I can't give you 10x what you're getting for the same price, then don't even talk to me, but I can. And within a decade, he became the #1 life insurance in the world. They ultimately went public, became Primerica. But his book is entitled How to Beat Talent, Brains, and Education. And he says that if you're smart, you actually have a handicap, especially, you know, in life and network marketing. If you're educated, you have a handicap in network marketing. If you have some unique talent or beauty, you're handicapped, because these people, you know, often things come too easy, and they have not learned how to grind, how to deal with rejection. And it's going to be part of this game. So part of what you have to know is that most people are going to say no, but no always means no, not right now. And if you stay with the mindset, make friends, meet their friends, use your success and happiness as your business card, later, they're going to see the changes in your life. And yeah, remember that little part-time thing I talked to you about, as Jim Rohn would say? Well, that's actually what's funding these vacations and these toys and everything else. So yeah, maybe we should revisit that conversation. And often you'll find out when you succeed, that's the best reason for people to join you.
You know, you mentioned Art Williams, and he had a pretty big impact actually on my career early on. I was not introduced to him per se, but you know, to the concept and some of his teachings. And you know, one of the people that, you know, now run that company, I believe he's still there, a guy by the name of John Addison. Do you know John?
I met him at Eric Worre's event. I read his book. That's an absolutely fantastic book. He runs the company. He's actually never been a network marketer, but he's the behind the scenes guy, corporate guy. That's also one heck of a networker. Well,
there's an audio by this guy, John Addison, and it's called Nevers. And you could maybe Google John Addison and Nevers. I bet I've listened to that audio 100 times if I've listened to it once. And it's just, there's so many gems in there. And I mean, just phenomenal information by this guy by the name of John Addison. It's phenomenal tape. And you said, you know, obviously you guys know I'm not a reader because of my dyslexia and stuff, but I listen and I watch. Yeah, I kind of chuckled, you know, when you said you've read 150 books. I probably have yet to complete my first full book, you know, but anyway, but I do a lot of audio. I mean, a ton of audio. I love that stuff. So, okay, well, listen, anybody want to chime in for a closing comment? And otherwise we'll wrap this up.
Hey, John, I actually want to thank you for being such a great inspiration, but Malcolm Gladwell's a fantastic author. He wrote a book called David and Goliath, and the subtitle is The Advantage of Disadvantage. And, you know, he says that dyslexia is a supreme advantage for those that know how to use it, like Sir Richard Branson, like yourself. You know, when you talk to people, you're going to use basic language. When you talk to people, you're going to look them in the eye. You've got a firm handshake. You learned a great work ethic, and look how well it served you. So we all have, and I do mean we all have, that's my belief, and I've always seen it to be true, exactly what we need to create whatever life we want. We just have to connect with people, make friends, meet their friends, get in the right system, learn leverage, learn resources, use events, and all of our dreams can come true.
You know, that just made me think of something real quick, because Wednesday, you know, we had our you know, next level mastermind, you know, at the Eric Worre mastermind call. And one of the comments I made on there, you know, is sometimes, you know, our weakness could be our superpower, right? And I mean, although I hate the challenge I have with dyslexia and the trouble I have reading and how it's held me back in so many areas in life, and it caught a point of major embarrassment and humiliation and stuff in many parts of my life. The other side of that is you know, it's made me who I am. It's made me very intuitive. I believe I've become very intuitive, and I can sense people's, very empathetic, sensing people's discomfort, or when they feel out of place or whatever. And I've used that. But here's the you know, where the superpower came in, because I hid it my whole life. You know, I was so embarrassed and humiliated by it. I hid it my whole life. Even when I was, you know, when I had gotten married, my wife didn't know I had dyslexia. You know, you become very good at hiding it, getting out of situations, you know, handing somebody, you stare at something for a while, and then you'll hand it to somebody else and ask them what they think of it or whatever. But, you know, at an event, here it is in another event. This is my second company I was with. At an event, I was one of 18 that got to speak on stage. And I had these postcards, these recipe cards that no one could have possibly read except for me. And I wrote them with my own version of my own shorthand because I couldn't spell either. And they got mixed up, and I'm on stage in front of about 5,000 people and completely froze. And I paused for a moment, and I just basically lifted a million tons of bricks off my shoulders by sharing. I just got real with them for a moment of my challenge in dyslexia and how it's affected my life. And for the first time, I mean, literally, I could not believe the power of that message, right? And it was a pinnacle moment in my career, that my biggest challenge in life became my superpower to advance, you know, my career and impact so many other people. So with that, we'll say goodbye. Thank you, everyone, for your participation and involvement. Remember, we are streaming this on YouTube. I've probably got a couple hundred videos on YouTube. So if you haven't liked my channel yet, go there and, you know, like my channel, hit the notification button so you get notified when we go live or when there's a new video posted. And like I said, subscribe. So with that, everybody have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you all again soon. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it very, very much. This was great.
Amazing.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, John.